As I study the book of Acts, I see that the culture the early church lived in was brutal. It was totally pagan and openly anti-Christian. Half-hearted Christians didn't exist. The early church were literal aliens to everything in the culture. To embrace Jesus meant opposition and rejection, hostility was coming your way. For many, it meant death. And so I began to ask the question, why was this society so hostile towards the early church? The only thing I could find was simply this. Early Christians preached the words of Jesus, period. They never compromised. They never sugarcoated his message. They never asked how they could make it more palatable and more relatable to culture. They made it absolutely clear that belief in Jesus involved sacrifice. It involved a changed life, not living as a hypocrite. The early church was confronting sin and calling people to deny themselves. And because of this, anyone who represented this message was resented and rejected. I'm going to be blunt here. Superficial faith in Christ will not stand against this society that is turning against the God of the Bible in droves. In fact, the more biblically true Christians are, and the more we speak and live what we see in the Bible, the more we are labeled as extremists. I have been so burdened by the church's lack of fire and failure to follow and obey the biblical model that was laid out by Jesus himself. And sadly, we've come to this place in this day where all that is being produced in the Western church is soft, nominal Christians who lack love for Christ and have never even thought about what obedience to Jesus even means. I mean, geez, most don't even know the real gospel or any of his commands. There's no accountability. And we ask why? Look at what's going on in the building on Sunday. In most churches, we have this me-centered show going on. It's all about the man on the stage and less about raising up leaders and disciples. It's all about self-serving. Leaders are afraid to preach the message the early Christians preached out of fear of losing friends, losing followers. Most are more concerned with elevating self and human approval and budgets than they are fulfilling the mandate Christ left us with. And all this has produced is superficial Christianity. Superficial Christianity has blurred the clear lines between the kingdom of heaven and the kingdom of this world and softened the demands of the gospel, making professing and following Christ easy and without cost. And what does this lead to? Fancy buildings filled with highly religious, superficially moral, self-righteous people who don't understand the gospel and are self-deceived about their true spiritual state and spend their lives with one foot in the kingdom and one foot in the world. And I want you to look around at our Christian culture and tell me this isn't true.